Lesson 2, topic, scientific notation. Learning target, I can write numbers in scientific notation. First off, what is scientific notation? Scientific notation is a number multiplied by a power of 10. This is why we talked about exponents first, because scientific notation will always have a power of 10, meaning the big number will be 10, the base, and it will be raised to a power, or have an exponent, that little baby number. And this exponent must be an integer, which are, remember, those positive, negative, whole numbers. So positive 7 or negative 13 integers. And then the first number, we call it our constant, and it's any number between 1 and 10. It can be exactly 1, but it can't be 10. It can be 9.5, it could be 7, it could be any number between 1 and 10. So it couldn't be 12, and it couldn't be 0.5. So let's practice writing numbers in scientific notation. Here we have the number 2 million. We have a 2 with 6 zeros after it. That's standard form. So to move it into scientific notation, so a number times a power of 10, we are going to first locate the decimal point. If it is a whole number, your decimal point is right here at the end. Be like if we wanted to add 50 cents onto it, we put 0.50 at the end. So there's our decimal point. And our goal is to move that decimal point until we make a number that's between 1 and 10. So our coefficient has to be between 1 and 10. So I'm going to move this decimal point until I make the number 2, because 2 is between 1 and 10. So if I put the decimal point right after 2, that's the number 2. So then my coefficient is 2 times 10, and so now we need that exponent. Your exponent is the number of jumps that you take with that decimal point. So we moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So 2 times 10 to the power of 6. And we can always check our answer in our calculator. So if I do 2 times 10 to the power of 6, we get the number 2 million. So you can see it on the calculator. So that is that number in scientific notation. Now we have our second number. We have 5 thousandths, which is the number 0.005. So again, we find that decimal point, which we can see it right here. And then we move it to make a number between 1 and 10, which would be the number 5. 5 is between 1 and 10. So that decimal point has to be after 5. Because remember, 5 would be like $5, so it would be 5.00, not 0.5, which is that decimal, which would mean 50 cents. We want to make sure we move the decimal point in the right spot. So our coefficient will be 5 times 10, and then we need our exponent. Remember, your exponent is your number of jumps, so we count our jumps, 1, 2, 3. So it is going to be a 3. However, it's not a positive 3, because we started with a small decimal number. So this is actually going to be a negative 3. Because if we check in our calculator and we do 5 times 10 to the third power, that's going to give us 5,000, not 5 thousandths. So when we start with that decimal number, we need our exponent to be negative because it's really a fraction. We could also write this number as the fraction 5 over 1,000. And remember, negative exponents give us that fraction. So if we start with a decimal like that, then it is going to be a negative exponent. All right, I would like you to try these 2 problems on your own and then check your answers in Edpuzzle. Now we have 2 more problems, but this is going the other way. We're going to start in scientific notation and move to standard form. So first step is I like to write out the number. And then it's just going backwards. So we're going to find the decimal point and we are going to jump it 6 times. Now since it's a positive 6, we are going to go to the right 6 times. So we're going to jump 1, 2, 3, 4. And even when we run out of numbers, we still keep jumping 6 times. Once we've done that, we fill in the empty holes with zeros. And then this is our number in standard form. We can add those commas in every third digit, and we have the number 2,007,500. One more example. We have 1.685 times 10 to the negative fourth. So again, write out the number, your coefficient. Identify your exponent. Our exponent is negative 4. Since it is a negative exponent, that means we're going to jump to the left. So we're going to find our decimal point. We're going to jump 4 jumps to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fill the empty holes with zeros. And then rewrite your number. We have 0.0001685. You can put a 0 in front of your decimal point because that does help make your decimal point more noticeable. Or just really make sure you put a big decimal point so we know where that decimal point is. Last two problems. Sometimes we are asked to evaluate or do an operation like multiplication or division with scientific notation. Now we could use our calculator, but we do want our answer in scientific notation, so we do have a shortcut that we can use. What we can do when we have two numbers in scientific notation in an operation is multiply the like pieces. So that would mean multiply coefficient with coefficient. So we'll do 8.4 times 1.7. And we can use our calculator to help us with that. 8.4 times 1.7 is 14.28. And then we multiply our powers. 10 to the second power times 10 to the sixth power. And I can add my exponents. So I can do 2 plus 6, which is 8. So that would be 10 to the 8th power. And then I just write it out in scientific notation form. So we have 14.28 times 10 to the 8th power. Now, we always have to check and make sure our number's in scientific notation, which means this number has to be between 1 and 10. If it is not, we have to do a little change. Since it's not between 1 and 10, we have to move this decimal point over to make it a number between 1 and 10. So it's not going to be 1.428 times 10, but now we have to change our exponent. Our exponent gets to change. Since we made our number smaller, we're going to make our exponent bigger. 10 to the 9th power. I'd like you to try this last one on your own. Just give it a shot. This is division. So use those same steps for multiplication and try figuring out this problem and answer in Edpuzzle.